Okay, so you've maybe spent, I don't know, countless hours digging into English grammar, right? Memorizing those huge vocabulary lists,
Hmm.
maybe even wrestling with the perfect tenses.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But then you find yourself actually talking to someone and your words feel, okay, they're functional, but not really fluent. You know that feeling, that kind of
That
stiffness.
stiffness is so, so common. And it often comes from relying on the very formal, maybe textbook verbs, the
Yeah.
long ones,
Hmm.
while kind of missing the quick, high frequency things that native speakers use all the time, like minute by minute.
Hmm.
People often think fluency means knowing massive words, but it's often simpler.
Exactly. And the secret, the real key, maybe the shortcut to sounding like you actually, live the language,
Hmm.
it isn't the complex academic stuff.
No.
It's these simple, sort of humble 2 or 3 word combos. We were talking about phrasal verbs,
Right.
but not like some dry grammar point. We're looking at them as the absolute essential vocabulary for everyday life.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is that native speakers use these all the time. A verb plus a little preposition or particle, and they don't even think about it. They're not analyzing it.
Right? Conscious effort?
None. It's just the normal, efficient way to talk about everything. Literally everything from, grabbing your coffee in the morning to discussing big work strategies or even like deep emotional stuff.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this then. Our mission today in this deep dive is to look at, well, nearly 75 of the most common, most high frequency phrasal verbs that came up in our source material.
Hmm.
We're boiling them down to the absolute core language people use every single day. But we're not just listing definitions. That's not the point.
No.
We want to give you the how-to, the kind of hidden rules of placement, tone, context.
Mhm.
The things that actually make these simple phrases boost your fluency.
Yeah, the core promise here really is that if you shift just a bit of your mental energy towards mastering these common patterns, it will instantly change how your English sounds. The rhythm of it,
Hmm.
it helps move you past that sort of stiff textbook feel into what we're calling living English. You get that verbal flexibility you need to talk about pretty much anything with a much more natural conversational flow.
So, phrasal verbs aren't just for exams, they're like the connective tissue of real conversation, and they really are the shortcut to sounding fluent. Let's dive in and see how they actually work. Okay, so let's get into the mechanics a bit, the analytical deep dive part. Lots of learners seem to treat each phrasal verb like a totally new, scary vocabulary item.
Right. They miss that it's actually a system.
Yeah. So, what makes these combinations so powerful, but also, let's be honest, often so confusing?
Well, the confusion, I think, often comes because that little extra word, the up, down, off, out, its meaning, often seems totally unrelated to, physical direction.
Right.
So, at its simplest, yeah, a phrasal verb is just verb plus small word, totally new meaning. Take look. Simple verb means using your eyes.
Okay, but if I add up to, like, I really look up to my mentor, the meaning just completely flips, right? It's about respect or admiration. The up direction is gone.
Completely gone, exactly. And that change, that transformation, it's all powered by that little particle. We kind of need to stop seeing particles only as directions in space,
And start seeing them as,
as like conceptual multipliers. Think
yeah.
about it. UP often suggests finishing something, increasing it, or making it more intense, like finish up or speak up.
Okay.
Down in can imply reducing something or maybe recording it, like write down or cut down on.
Makes sense.
OUT often implies, bringing something into the open, expressing it publicly, or maybe eliminating something or leaving. Think, figure out, speak out, head out.
Right.
And OF often suggests separation or stopping something or maybe delaying it, like turn off, put off.
Huh. That reframing actually helps a lot. If I think of figure out not just as solve, but like bringing the solution out from the confusion, it clicks differently.
Exactly. Now let's talk about something really key that separates an expert user from someone still working on it.
Yeah.
Separability.
Oh, okay. Grammar term alert.
Yeah, sounds technical, I know. But basically, phrasal verbs could be transitive, meaning they take an object, something receives the action, or intransitive, meaning they don't.
Like wake up, it doesn't really take an object, you just wake up.
Precisely. Now, if a phrasal verb is transitive, if it takes an object, it can be either separable or inseparable.
Okay, that sounds like where the textbook nightmares begin.
Yeah.
Give us a practical side. Why does it matter if I can separate it or not?
It matters hugely for flow and, well, just sounding right. A separable phrasal verb lets you put the object between the verb and the particle.
Okay, example.
Turn off objects.
Yeah.
The alarm. You can say, turn off the alarm. Fine. Or you can say, turn the alarm off. Also fine.
Seems easy enough, flexible.
It is flexible unless, and this is the absolute crucial rule, unless the object is a pronoun, like it, them, him, her.
No.
When the object is a pronoun, the phrasal verb must be separated. No choice. You have to say, turn it off. You absolutely cannot say, turn off it.
Whoa. Okay, that's gold.
Yeah.
Seriously. That one little thing can instantly make someone's speech sound less awkward, more native. Pick up the phone or pick it up. Mandatory separation for it.
Mandatory, exactly. And then conversely, you have inseparable phrasal verbs like run into, meaning to meet someone unexpectedly.
Right.
You never put the object in the middle. You have to say, I ran into John. You'd never say, I ran John into. Doesn't work.
Okay.
Same with run out of. It acts like one solid block. We ran out of milk. Always together.
Right. So if we're going to really get these 75-ish verbs down, we need to know more than just the meaning. We need to know, can I stick a little word like it or them in the middle? That's the analysis we need.
And this focus on the short, punchy phrasal verb also explains why native speakers sound the way they do. Instead of, say, commence the work, they'll just say, get to work.
Much quicker.
Quicker, more direct. Instead of postpone the meeting, it's put off the meeting. It sets a different rhythm, a conversational rhythm.
Okay, the strategy seems clear. Focus on the really common ones, learn them in context like we're about to do, and pay attention to the separable, inseparable thing, especially with pronouns. Let's jump into that context, starting right at the beginning of the day.
Okay, it's interesting, isn't it? We go from these sort of abstract rules about separability straight into the sometimes chaotic reality of the morning.
Definitely.
And this is where it gets really interesting, like you said. The sources show the morning routine is basically built, block by block, using phrasal verbs, starting the second that alarm goes off.
It really is. And the very first pair that comes up highlights a difference that trips up learners all the time because they think they're synonyms. Wake up versus get up.
Right. Wake up. That's internal, isn't it? Intransitive, inseparable. It's just that moment your brain switches back on, you stop sleeping. I usually wake up around 7.
But I just lay there for a bit, yeah, thinking about the day. Exactly. Whereas get up, that's physical.
That's the action. Leaving the bed. She finally got up at 7:30. That gap in time between waking up and getting up probably defines millions of mornings.
Huh. Absolutely. And the difference matters. Like if you're telling someone what to do, if I tell my kids to wake up, well, they could technically still be lying there.
Exactly. But if you say get up, you expect feet on the floor. Movement.
Okay, so you're up. Now you're interacting with stuff around the house, and these seem to be mostly separable transactional verbs, turning things on and off.
Yes. We turn off the alarm. We turn on the coffee machine. Simple actions.
And we can apply that separability rule right away, can't we? You can say, please turn off the TV, or please turn the TV off.
Both fine. But if the TV becomes it,
Then it has to be, please turn it off. Separated. Non-negotiable. Wow, these are just fundamental for existing in a modern house. Okay, moving to getting dressed. We have the basic get dressed. Simple means put on clothes. But English, especially when you're just chatting, it seems to like efficiency, speed. Which brings us to a more casual option.
yeah, throw on. This one's great. If you're rushing, maybe late, just grabbing whatever's clean and nearby. You might say, I just throw on a T-shirt and jeans.
Right. It instantly says quick, casual, maybe a little bit desperate. It's much more colorful than just saying, I put on a T-shirt.
Much more evocative, yeah.
Okay, dressed, ready to go. You need to leave the house. Instead of the slightly more formal go to work, which is fine, but
But most people will default to head out or head to. It just means leaving, often implying the destination. Okay, I'm heading out now, see you later, or need to head to work.
simple. And then later, the reverse is true. You head back home.
Yep, much more common than saying return home in everyday chat.
And notice, head out is usually intransitive. You just head out. Makes it easy to use. Hashtag tag, 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 tag B. Daily logistics and practicalities. Okay, beyond just getting yourself ready, the sources highlight those daily errands, the practical stuff, and maybe the #1 cause of household frustration, perfectly captured by that inseparable 3-word verb, run out of.
Oh, absolutely. When the supply is gone, we ran out of milk again.
Yeah.
Or the printer ran out of ink right when I needed it. Essential for talking about scarcity.
And crucially, you said inseparable. You have to keep run out of together as a unit.
Always. If you quickly leave a room, you run out. But if you use up a supply, you run out of it. Big difference.
Got it. Now, for helping people or just moving things around, especially with transport, we seem to rely on those practical, separable opposites. Drop off and pick up.
Exactly. I drop off the kids at school, or I pick up some groceries.
Let's test that rule again. I can drop off the package, or
you can drop the package off. Both work.
but if the package is it.
I drop it off. Mandatory separation, and same for pickup. Did you pick the kids up, or did you pick them up? These are just fundamental for coordinating anything.
Okay. And speaking of logistics, another key separable one for capacity. Fill up.
Right. You fill up the car with gas. You
All right.
fill up your water bottle. Clear action. Need to fill the tank up before we leave.
And you mentioned earlier that great informal meaning.
Oh, yeah. When someone leans back after a big meal and says, I'm full up, meaning they've eaten too much. Very colloquial.
Good one. We should probably note quickly, fill in for forms and fill out for maybe larger documents. They're kind of variations, right? But we'll stick with fill in for the professional section later.
Yeah, good point. Fill in is probably the most universally understood for forms. Hashtag tag, hashtag C, preparation and awareness.
All right, moving into more preparation type actions, we have warm up.
Yep. This can be physical. An athlete warms up before a race, getting their body ready. Or it can be literal temperature warming up leftover soup.
And separable again. Can you warm the soup up?
Exactly. Now, for learners especially, I really like this next one, brush up on.
Oh yeah, that sounds useful.
It means reviewing or practicing something you already have some knowledge of. You're not starting from scratch. You're improving what's already there.
Uh-huh.
I really need to brush up on my Spanish before my trip. And it's inseparable.
That sounds so much better than just, I need to review my Spanish.
I know.
It implies a quick, focused polish.
Exactly. And finally, a really significant shift in meaning comes with wake up to. This takes us completely away from physical sleep.
Okay.
It's an inseparable verb, meaning to suddenly realize something important, often something you were maybe ignoring before. It's about dawning awareness. He finally woke up to how much his family needed him.
Wow. So it's not about the alarm clock at all. It's about a big emotional realization.
Precisely. A profound shift.
It's amazing how one tiny particle like to or on can just completely transform a verb's meaning from physical action to like a major life insight. That really shows why they call it living English.
It does.
Okay, that's almost what? 18 really useful verbs just covering getting out of bed and out the door. And crucially, we know how to handle them with pronouns now.
Okay, now we shift gears a bit. Moving from the morning routine at home into the more mental challenges of the workplace or studying or just managing tasks in general.
Right.
And the language here often conveys things like confidence, being organized, and having a kind of friendly but efficient way of tackling problems.
Okay, so making that transition from maybe morning chaos to needing order at work often starts with needing to understand something complex. Figure out seems perfect here.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
that go-to conversational, separable replacement for understand or solve. Hang on, I'm just trying to figure out how this new system works.
It implies that mental puzzle solving process, doesn't it? We can figure out the problem or figure the problem out.
Yep. And if the problem is it, we figure it out. Very flexible, very common. Now compare that slightly with sort out.
Okay. Sort out feels more practical, like dealing with a messy desk or fixing a scheduling conflict. Don't worry, I'll sort out the meeting room booking.
Exactly. Figure out is more mental discovery.
Hmm.
Sort out is more about organizing, fixing logistics, tidying up confusion, though, both generally mean solve a problem. I need to sort out these files.
Right.
It sounds reassuring, capable, professional, but not stuffy, and also separable. I'll sort the schedule out later.
Okay. And if you just need someone to keep going with what they're doing, the simple natural replacement for continue seems to be the inseparable. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay, please carry on with the presentation.
Yeah.
It feels natural, maybe slightly more common in British English,
Yeah.
but understood everywhere. It's got a nice, casual, keep-going feel.
Got it. And for looking into something, investigating.
We use the separable verb look into. Means to investigate. Check something carefully. Thanks for flagging that. We'll look into the customer complaint right away.
Or, I'm looking the issue into. Does that sound right?
Technically separable, but look into the issue sounds much more common and natural than separating it there. Interesting point. Usually we keep it together unless the object is a pronoun. We'll look into it.
Okay, good clarification. Now, quick question. If I'm dealing with something really complex, like I don't know, a serious financial audit, would I still say look into? Or does it sound too casual then? Is there a time when the longer, more formal word like investigate is actually better?
That is a brilliant question. And yes, context matters. In super formal written documents like a legal finding or maybe a scientific paper abstract, you might well choose investigate or examine for that formal register.
Okay.
But honestly, in probably 95% of professional communication, especially emails, team meetings, even reports, look into is often preferred. Why? Because it sounds decisive and action-oriented without sounding cold or overly bureaucratic. It gets the job done clearly. Hashtag tag, 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 B, collaboration and communication. All right, moving into working together.
Yeah.
If you need to draw attention to a specific point in a discussion or a document, you point out that detail.
Right. During the review, she pointed out a crucial error in the calculation.
Yeah.
And that's separable. She pointed the error out.
Exactly. Really essential for giving feedback or highlighting important bits.
And for reviewing things together, like checking answers before submitting something.
We often use the inseparable verb go over. Okay, team, let's go over the project plan one more time. It implies a careful, often joint review. It's maybe a bit more thorough than the separable look over, which can sometimes mean a quicker, more superficial check.
That's useful distinction. Okay, and introducing a new topic into a conversation or meeting, instead of saying, I want to mention something.
You'd probably say, can I bring up something quickly? Or
Yeah.
he brought up a really good point earlier. It's versatile, natural, and separable. He brought the issue up.
Yeah.
Sounds much smoother than introduce the topic.
Yeah, I love how these verbs aren't just about the information, they really manage the social side of things, too. The flow of conversation. Hashtag, hashtag C, administration, and submission.
Definitely. Now let's hit some admin essentials. Distributing things, like papers in a meeting.
You hand out the documents. Could you hand out these agendas, please? Separable.
Yep. Hand them out. And the opposite, collecting things, like a teacher collecting homework, is often take in. The professor will take in the essays at the end of the lecture.
Okay. And for preparing something, arranging equipment, setting up a system.
That's the very useful separable verb set up. We need to set up the projector before the client arrives, or let's set up a call for next week. It just means prepare or arrange. Can you set it up?
Simple. Now, paperwork. Forms. The dreaded forms.
Ah, yes. Fill in. That's the standard. Writing information in the blanks. Please fill in sections A and B. And yes, it's separable. Fill it in.
Now, you mentioned a warning earlier about confusion with fill up or fill out.
Right. Fill up is about capacity, like the gas tank. Fill out is also very common, especially in American English, often meaning completing the entire form. But if you stick with fill in for putting info into specific spaces on a form, you'll generally be clear and understood everywhere.
Okay, good advice. And that other meaning of fill in, the crucial one for teamwork.
Yes, meaning to substitute for someone temporarily. My colleague is sick today, so I have to fill in for her. This is inseparable when it means substitute. Essential phrase for office life.
Absolutely vital. Okay, submitting work officially. Reports, assignments.
You turn in your work. All reports must be turned in by 5 p.m. Friday, and this one is separable. Did you turn your assignment in already?
But then, that other meaning, totally different context.
Exactly. If you're tired at the end of the day, you might say, right, I think I'm going to turn in, meaning go to bed.
Wow. So same words, turn in, but the go to bed meaning is inseparable, while the submit work meaning is separable. That's efficient. But you really need the context.
Context is everything with phrasal verbs. Hashtag, tech, hashtag, D, management, and efficiency.
Okay, wrapping up the professional zone. 3 key phrases here for managing work and being efficient.
First, the absolute classic of business communication, follow-up.
Right. Can't escape that one.
It means checking again, continuing communication after some initial contact. Crucially, it's inseparable when used this way. Okay, I'll follow up with the client next week to see if they've decided. You follow up on something or follow up with someone, essential for polite persistence.
Okay. Second, trying to reduce something. A bad habit, maybe spending.
That's the inseparable verb, cut down on. I'm really trying to cut down on coffee, or the department needs to cut down on travel expenses. It implies a conscious effort to decrease, sounds more active than just reduce.
Yeah, it does sound more determined. Okay, and third, one that feels very modern, very relevant to today's workload.
Has to be catch up on. Doing something you missed or got behind on, that feeling of backlog. I need to spend the afternoon catching up on emails, or this weekend I just want to catch up on sleep. It's inseparable and perfectly captures that feeling of needing to get back on track.
Okay, that's another solid block, maybe 15 core verbs just for work and study. Using these really would make your communication sound much more natural, professional, and fluent. You can manage tasks, collaborate, sort things out, all using these common phrases.
Right, so we're moving out of the sort of logistical, task-oriented world of the office now and into an area where English gets really, well, relational, emotional even.
Yeah.
These next phrasal verbs are often about connection or conflict, trust. They carry a kind of tonal weight that a single, more formal verb often just can't replicate. Hashtag, tag, A. Staying connected, general.
Absolutely. Okay, starting simple, just contacting someone, the direct action of making a phone call.
Call up, straightforward, separable. I need to call my mom up later.
But the broader idea, contacting someone using any method, phone, email, message.
That's the inseparable phrase. Get in touch with someone. Could you get in touch with the supplier about that invoice? Much more general.
Okay. And then the absolute champion social verb, the one you hear all the time for reconnecting.
Oh, catch up. Has to be. It's not just talk. It's specifically talking to someone you haven't seen for a while, sharing news, hearing their updates. Hey, it's been ages. We should catch up properly soon.
It sounds so warm, friendly, right? Shows genuine interest. And it's inseparable.
Totally inseparable. And related for just spending relaxed time with people, friends usually.
Hang out.
Yep, hang out. We're just going to hang out at the beach this weekend. Very casual, maybe used more by younger people, but understood by everyone. Typically inseparable and intransitive. You just hang out.
Sometimes you meet people totally by accident, though, that unexpected encounter.
Right. You run into someone, like bumping into an old friend you haven't seen in years at the supermarket.
Yeah.
It really emphasizes the surprise, the coincidence. And as we said before, inseparable. You'll never guess who I ran into yesterday.
Okay. And if you're inviting someone somewhere and you want them to bring someone else with them?
A nice inclusive phrase is the separable bring along. Feel free to bring along your partner to the party, or even for objects. Could you bring some snacks along? Very useful for invitations. Hashtag, tag, tagged, hashtag VP. Understanding and conflict.
All right, now digging a bit deeper into the more emotional side of communication. Starting with that challenge of making yourself understood, especially with complex ideas or feelings.
Yes, that's where get across comes in. Trying to successfully communicate an idea or point so the other person truly understands it. It often implies some effort is needed.
And it's separable. He found it difficult to get his meaning across in the email.
Exactly. Critical verb when clarity is tough.
Okay. Which leads naturally into vulnerability, doesn't it? Sharing personal stuff.
When someone shares their private thoughts or feelings, especially things they might usually keep hidden, they open up. It took him a while, but he eventually opened up about his struggles. It's inseparable and signifies building trust, taking an emotional risk.
And the flip side of that, when people don't share, when they hide their feelings.
That's the incredibly evocative separable verb, bottle up. She tends to bottle up her anger instead of talking about it. The image is so clear, isn't it? Sealing emotions inside.
Yeah, visceral, like bottling the frustration up. Very human, very relatable.
Definitely.
Now, conflict, it happens. How does English handle arguments and reconciliation conversationally?
Well, if friends have a big argument and stop being friendly, they fall out. They fell out over something really silly last year. It's inseparable, often used to describe that breakdown in a relationship.
Okay. And the positive side, fixing it.
The solution, hopefully, is to make up,
Hmm.
meaning to forgive each other and become friends again after a disagreement. Luckily, the siblings made up pretty quickly. It's separable and the standard way to talk about reconciliation.
Good to know. And just generally, day to day, having a good, easy relationship with someone.
You get along with them. Inseparable. Do you get along well with your new boss? Simple, common question. Hashtag, tag, C. Trust and attitude. Trust and attitude.
Mm.
These are often conveyed really subtly but effectively with phrasal verbs, showing respect or admiration.
You look up to someone. Kids often look up to athletes or musicians. Inseparable, positive about admiration.
And we should immediately contrast that with the nasty opposite.
Look down on. Yeah. Thinking you're better than someone, showing contempt. It's awful how some people look down on others just because they have less money. Shows that phrasal verbs can carry real judgment, real attitude. Also inseparable.
Definitely. Now for reliability. Depending on someone.
You count on them. Don't worry, you can count on me to be there.
Yeah.
Inseparable expresses real dependability, which is huge in relationships.
It is. And maybe one of the most powerful expressions of loyalty in this whole section is stand by.
Ah, yeah. That feels strong.
It means supporting someone, especially when they're going through a tough time. True friends will stand by you no matter what. Inseparable conveys real solidarity, real backing. It's a beautiful phrase.
It really is. Wow, okay. These aren't just words, are they? They're carrying the real weight of human connection, the trust, the vulnerability, the arguments, the loyalty. Using these confidently really lets you express the heart of things. All right, our final section now. We're looking at the verbs that describe bigger shifts, personal growth, development, effort, progress, and how we sort of reflect on our journey. These feel like the verbs of self-improvement and looking ahead. Hashtag choose many. Personal development and effort.
Yeah, exactly. And the first one is so basic but so profound. Grow up.
Right. Which isn't just about getting older physically.
Not at all. It's about maturing mentally, emotionally, taking responsibility. You might hear someone say, come on, it's time to grow up and stop blaming everyone else. It's inseparable, can sound a bit stern, but it's about reaching maturity.
Okay. And once you're grown up, hopefully you keep trying to improve, making an effort on something specific.
You work on it. Shows continuous action, dedication. She's really working on her patience, or I need to work on my presentation skills. Inseparable implies ongoing effort.
Growth often happens slowly, bit by bit. Is there a verb for that gradual increase?
Yes, the separable verb build up, increasing something incrementally. It could be physical strength, savings, vocabulary, or even confidence. He's trying to build up the courage to ask for a raise,
Yeah.
or you need to build your stamina up slowly.
Okay, and the absolute key to making progress with any of that, sticking with it, even when it's hard.
That stick with. Inseparable. Learning a language is tough, but you have to stick with it. Essential for motivation, for persistence.
And if you do stick with it, eventually.
Eventually, hopefully, you catch on. That lovely, encouraging, inseparable phrase, meaning you start to understand or get good at something. The rules are confusing at first, but you'll catch on quickly. It implies that aha moment of competence.
Nice. And maintaining that progress once you've started.
That's the separable verb, keep up. Wow, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. Or, talking about pace, we need to keep up this speed. If you're maintaining something, you're keeping it up.
And the opposite, unfortunately, stopping trying.
That's give up. A really powerful separable verb means stopping the effort. It got too difficult, so he gave up. Or encouragingly, don't give it up yet. Hashtag, hashtag, Placygee. Career and forward momentum.
Okay, thinking about career progress specifically, getting promoted, advancing.
The standard is the inseparable verb, move up. She worked hard and moved up quickly through the ranks. Or he's hoping to move up to a management position soon. Clear language for success.
And when you decide to accept a new challenge, something difficult or big,
You take on that challenge. The company is taking on several new clients this year. It's separable, shows courage, willingness to handle more. I don't think I can take any more work on right now.
yeah, okay. And starting a new venture, a big project, or even a literal journey with a specific goal.
You set out to do it. They set out to create the best software in the industry. It applies to travel, like they set out at dawn,
Yeah.
but also really well to ambitious goals. Inseparable.
And after a big change, maybe closing one chapter and starting another, especially if the previous chapter was difficult.
That's when you move on. Continuing life after finishing a stage, often implying acceptance and closure. It was a tough breakup, but she's ready to move on now. Strong, positive, inseparable. It's about looking forward. Hashtag, see. Learning and outcome.
Okay, so you've made progress, you've moved on. Sometimes it's good to reflect, isn't it?
Definitely. And for that, we have the inseparable verb, look back, thinking of the past. When I look back at my early career, I realize how much I learned. It allows for perspective, seeing growth.
And the final result of all that effort, how things end up.
That's often summarized with the inseparable verb, turn out. We were worried about the event because of the rain, but it turned out great in the end. It's often hopeful, focusing on the outcome. We also use it turned out that to introduce a surprising result or fact.
Right. And if things don't turn out perfectly, the necessary step.
You have to learn from it. Simple, inseparable, but absolutely essential for growth. Learn from mistakes, learn from experience.
And finally, looking towards the future with excitement, anticipation.
That's the wonderful, inseparable three-word phrase, look forward to. I'm really looking forward to the holidays. Or, we look forward to hearing from you soon. Always positive, polite, hopeful. And remember, it's always followed by a noun or a gerund-ing form of a verb. Look forward to the weekend, or look forward to seeing you.
Not look forward to see you.
Correct. Never the infinitive.
Got it. Wow. These transformative verbs, they feel like tiny life lessons embedded in the language, describing progress, motivation, reflection, hope, all in a really natural way. Hashtag, tag, tag, outro.
So yeah, after covering, nearly 75 of these really common high-utility phrasal verbs and digging into how they work, the main takeaway seems clear. These aren't just scary grammar points.
No.
They are genuinely living English. They carry all that nuance, habit, emotion, attitude, flexibility, personality.
They really are the building blocks of actual conversation. And the good news maybe is you don't need to overthink the rules if you start focusing on the sound and the flow. When you naturally say, I need to clean up the kitchen or let's catch up soon, you're not mentally parsing grammar rules.
No, you're just communicating
Huh.
organically.
That one technical insight we kept hitting is pretty crucial for nailing that organic sound, isn't it?
Absolutely. Understanding that when object is small, a pronoun like it, them, him, her, you must tuck it into the middle of a separable verb,
Pick them up,
not pick up them,
turn it off.
not turn off it. Getting that right is like a bridge from just knowing English words to actually speaking English naturally.
Yeah, fluency really does come from that connection, that rhythm, using the phrase that just feels right for the moment rather than worrying too much about the correct formal word. So, here's a challenge for you listening right now.
Okay.
Take action. Choose just, say, 5 or 10 verbs from everything we've talked about today. The ones that really jumped out as useful for your life.
Maybe it's wake up, head out for leaving, set up for preparing things, catch up with friends, and look forward to something good.
Could be those, could be others. Write them down. And then actually try using them in real sentences about your day, your week. Pay attention to where that little particle goes, especially if you use it or them.
Because every single time you use one correctly, especially getting that pronoun placement right with separable verbs, you're taking one more step towards thinking more like an English speaker.
Exactly. The more you notice them, hear them in movies, songs, conversations, and the more you practice using them yourself, the more automatic they become.
You're not just learning isolated vocabulary items anymore. You're really acquiring the tools to express who you are, your feelings, your plans, your journey. And mastering these allows you to stop that constant mental translation into English.
And start actually thinking in English about your life, about where you are now, where you've been, and, where you're setting up to go next.
Exactly. So keep up the fantastic work. Your English will definitely keep growing.